motivation and preparation led to a new sensation, new creation. That's what you're facing. Now watch my elevation.
You are now tuned into the Boxing Bros. I am Caden, and the TBE is MIA. So you go with that. But TV, we don't know where he's at. We're gonna put out, a AWOL. We're gonna put out a search for the TBE. If you know where he's at, let us know. But I'm Caden. I'm here with my co-host.
What's going on, everybody? It's the Commissioner, True Dollar Bill.
And this is G. What's going on, everyone?
All right, the first topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is the rematch between Derek Ward Chisora and Kubrat Pulev. Derek Ward Chisora finally got the nod in a close split decision over Kubrat Pulev. I'm turning it over to Conspiracy G. What was your reaction to the fight?
Man, listen, I've been the past couple of Chisora segments, I've been talking real disrespectful about Chisora needing to retire, and he got to stay silent, and he's done this and the third. But after this performance, I think he found his lane. But he's talking a little reckless after the fight. But if he with notable old heads like a Pulev, like a Povetkin, I think he got a good lane, and I think it's not necessarily like what was Mike Tyson's what was league he had? What he called it?
Oh, like the Legends League or something?
It ain't Legends League. This is like the old head league. You know what I'm saying? Like if Chisora could just stay in the old head league, I think, man, he got like another like 3-4 more fights. I thought the fight was action packed. It was a lot of illegal punches, behind the head. Funny style clinches, but I think what Chisora did well was his attack to the body, right? I remember like the first, was it 4 rounds? Pulev at the end will always stand. Man, after the 5th, my man was sitting down in between rounds, so I knew the body shots was working. And then you started noticing Pulev was like moving away from Chisora, so I knew he really was feeling them body shots. So I thought Chisora did an excellent strategy when it came to the body shot work. Now, that's risky because some judges don't really value body shots the same way they do headshots. And then Pulev did connect a couple of times on Chisora. So there were certain rounds, it was like, it's kind of tough. Like, who do you go with? But Chisora, man, he did great with the overhand rights as well. And Pulev, which was shocking because they didn't look like they really hurt. But Pulev's reaction to them overhand rights told, like, if I was a judge, I'm like, nah, bro, you got to give it to Chisora because you like snapping back. You're doing all kind of stuff. You're moving away from this dude's hooks now. It was. So I thought it was a great performance. And shout out to Pulev too. Like he didn't come to lay down, you know what I'm saying? But I just felt like he didn't do enough. I would have been okay with if it was a Pulev decision or if it was a draw, but I felt like, and I don't want to sound like Eddie because I didn't necessarily like what Eddie said at the end of the fight because it almost seemed like, we gave you the win, Chisora, because of all your L's you've been taking these past couple of years. But I felt like it was well-deserved. He won me over. And I was like, I was actually rooting for him to win. And lo and behold, my man pulled it off, man. Salute to Chisora. And, in honor of Chisora, this is why I was like, yo, Trill, you're going to be mad at me. But I was like, in honor of Chisora's win, I was like, you know what? Yesterday, I'm not watching no Ants fight. So I ended up watching that fight this morning. So it's whatever.
All right, True Dollar Bill.
Yo, that was a great segue, G. You know why? Because you know how my relationship with Chisora started.
Sure.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't a fan of him, and then when he rubbed me the wrong way, when he disrespected the lighter fighters, Josh Taylor and Regis Prograis, calling them ants and being disrespectful to the lower weight divisions, it rubbed me the wrong way, and I had some choice words. But I actually became a Chisora fan. He won me over, especially with his fight with Usyk, even though I picked him to lose. and I knew he would lose. Just the fact that he came out with the heart that he came out with, I was like, and everybody was saying that he didn't have it then. Then he comes out again and he puts on the same effort, and then you just can't help but to like the guy. You can't help but to love the warrior spirit and that war that he brings, you know, in every fight. I had him. I only gave Pulev 4 rounds. I'm sorry. Call me biased. I was
had 116, 112.
Yeah, man. I had it, man. It was crazy. I was going crazy. I was definitely a fanboy. The ninth round, I gave it to Pulev because even though he rocked and he hurt Chisora still came back.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that was probably the best round.
Yeah.
Chisora got hurt, and I'm saying, it's a Rizzy.
You know what I'm saying?
And my man came back.
He showed a lot, man. G, let me hold this. Because last night I wrote this down. I said, Chisora had some Bulgarian ribs last night. You know what I'm saying? That's what he had. With a broken finger and some other injuries. So he wasn't giving nothing. He went out there and he took it. You know, and he had his babies there to watch. He even dropped to one knee and shed a tear because it meant a lot to him. People said he was done and he was finished. And I said what I said last week. I said what I said. When I said, if you want to test, I want to see the young boy, the Juggernaut. Well, not so young. I want to see the Juggernaut in there with Chisora. Why not now? I said what I said. Okay, why not now? Give the boy another test and give Chisora one big last payday. Eddie, my man.
That'll be the last payday.
Yeah. Give him one last payday. You know what I'm saying? And make it huge, Eddie. You always throwing everybody else some money. Throw the homie some money.
Yeah, you know that was kind of shameful, man, that Chisora had to go to the public to kind of negotiate a bigger payday.
Kids in private school.
Throw my man some money. Throw my man some money. You know what I'm saying? I said what I said. Okay? I knew he was going to beat Pulev. There was no way that Pulev was going to beat my man. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? I'm out the window, G. We had Bulgarian ribs last night.
I mean, I'm rocking with the rib part, but you saying, you do Chisora was going with that for. I don't know.
I knew it. See my prediction. You know what I'm saying? I was talking to somebody in the comment. I let them know. I said, man, I think Chisora's going to beat Pulev. He can beat Pulev. That's why I said that I think that it would be a good test to put the boy Juggernaut in there with a name. And a name. And why not a name like Chisora? Usyk got in there with him. Why not? Give him one big, huge payday. Eddie, give my man some bread. Give him some bread, Eddie.
It's gonna be hard.
Give him some bread
so we can watch his funeral. You know what I'm saying?
So, first of all, it's gonna be hard to make a fight between the Juggernaut and Derek Chisora because Frank Warren ain't working with Eddie.
Yeah, I know, man. I was just,
wishful thinking.
I mean,
put it out in the universe.
Yeah, as far as a fight goes, I mean, it's not the worst fight. It's certainly it's a good name for Juggernaut, and he's gonna have to survive Derek Ward Chisora onslaught. But the thing is, I just think that he'll flatline Chisora eventually. Yeah, mainly because Pulev could have flatlined Chisora. Start off by saying I was rooting for Del Boy, of course. I've always liked Del Boy. Even when we were doing like the gatekeeper stuff, I tried my best to argue that Del Boy wasn't a gatekeeper, but I was overruled by the rest of the team. And now I'm saying he's not a gatekeeper. Look what he did to Pulev. Nah, but, in all seriousness, this fight played out the way Derek Chisora fights play out. Roughhouse tactics. He's holding, he's hitting. He started hitting behind the head like he was doing against Joseph Parker, but the ref squashed that early. And plus, Pulev started hitting him behind the head immediately after he started. So with Joseph Parker was just being a good guy, not going back behind the head. But Pulev started off early, like, if you want to hit behind the head, then I'm going to hit behind the head. So the ref had to squash that early. But Chisora did great body work. But in typical Chisora fashion, he started fading late. And the fight started to look like Pulev was going to take it over later on. And I think when you talk about the 9th round, that was when the real stand happened because Chisora got tired, so tired he was using the ropes to hold him up. And he was using the ropes as leverage to wang a huge overhand right. And in the 9th, Pulev looked like he was about to finish Derek. It looked like it was over, but Derek had his last stand. And Derek ended up hurting Pulev back. And that's when I said, this is different. With Usyk was able to take over the last rounds. Like, after Derek started to fade, Usyk took over. Joseph Parker was able to land the clean, effective punches in between Derek Chisora mucking up the rounds with his holding, hitting behind the head. So that's why Joseph Parker was able to beat him. The difference is Pulev could never gain control. Whenever he started to gain control, Chisora would land an overhand right or a beautiful punch to the body, and it was just like, that's an even exchange. Chisora stole that one.
Yeah, that's how he stole all Pulev's work. I was
exactly. Like, Pulev could never dominate and just keep it. Chisora always threw some back, always landed something. So at the end of the fight, I scored at 115, 113. And that's me knowing that I was rooting for Del Boy. So I'm like, okay, neither one of these guys are champions per se, right? So if I could give a round to Pulev, I gave Pulev every round I could give him. Plus, it was looking like early. I was looking at my scorecard early, and I was like, damn, like, am I being too biased? I
was giving all the rounds to Chisora, right? And then the round you talk about when he was on the fit, I started screaming, right? That's how you know I was gassed, right? I started screaming like, he's being Floyd. He's being Floyd.
Yeah, Floyd was like 100 pounds overweight. You know what I'm saying?
Chisora had some impressive head movement, though. He was slipping some. It was slow. Chisora was getting out of the way of the punches. So I was like, Del Boy was getting it in. I'm glad he won. He deserved it. I think he won. There people say could go either way. For me, I scored it for Chisora 7-5. I thought he did enough. I thought he landed the harder punches, the cleaner punches. I thought he showed the most grit. And Pulev never took control. He never dominated Chisora. He never won the exchanges. He won some exchanges. So I don't want to say never, but he didn't win enough exchanges to take the rounds from Chisora. And when he did, I gave him the rounds. But overall, it was always like he did some work, but Chisora took the play away from him. Like even in the 9th round, where you argued that's his best round, Chisora came back very well in that round. I still gave it to Pulev, but I'm just saying, like, you can make an argument for Chisora in that round too. It was just Chisora knew his career was on the line, and in typical war fashion, he was ready to go out. He was ready to go out for his career. And I'll say this, and then I'm done. I was more worried about Chisora passing out from exhaustion. That was, my man is huffing and puffing. I was telling G this before we started recording. There was one exchange, right? Pulev was doing his thing or whatever. Chisora caught him with a clean overhand right. Pulev backed up like 2 steps. Chisora walked up like he was about to follow up. He said, F that. He went back to the rope.
My man, I said, I'm gonna wait till that bell ring. I'm like,
Chisora was like, I did enough with the overhand right. Went back to the ropes.
That's boxing intelligence. Let us know how you feel in the comment section. Please like and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter. And please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. The Brothers album out now on all streaming services. We're just getting started with the Boxing Bros.